You are awake. Do you comprehend? You appear to understand me now. Greetings, human. You do not know me, and we are not in your room. Are you attempting to move? You will find you cannot. You are in a stasis field for your protection. But as you've already established, you are capable of speech. You are not in a dream state at this moment, but we will return you to sleep when we return you to Earth. I cannot lift the stasis field. You must remain in it until we send you back. It's the only way to ensure your safety. You are on a cloaked ship. Your planet's technology cannot detect us. We are conducting a survey of your species. No, we are not human. Who we are is not relevant. Our intention is not to educate you, but to study you. There is no need for you to see me. If you continue to attempt to move, you may injure yourself. I don't recommend that. Your heart rate has accelerated. Your respiratory rate has increased. You are experiencing high levels of stress and anxiety. Allow me to administer something to calm you. There. Your systems should slow now. It is not beneficial for your body to become highly stressed in that way. I expect it's because you are frightened. Humans feel fear, correct? We rarely speak with your species. We prefer to keep you unconscious while we conduct our examinations. It's for your protection and our own. The effectiveness of the sedative varies between individuals. You were not thoroughly sedated. It is of no matter. You will not recall this when you awaken back on Earth. And the pieces that you do retain will not make sense to you. They will seem like a dream. That is for your protection as well. We do not wish to disrupt your lives unnecessarily. There are other humans here, yes. They are all sedated. This is not your first time in this laboratory. Perhaps it seems familiar to you, although you were entirely unconscious during your previous examinations. Your first examination was during your infancy. You were selected as one of a group of humans that we would track from birth to death as we study your life cycle and development. Violated? We do not violate you. You too study other species of interest to you. Your anger is misplaced. I will increase the calming agent. I would not say we've ever harmed you. You were tagged in order to simplify your retrieval for your regular examinations, but we did not attempt to alter your physical or mental state in any significant way. We wish you to live your lives as normally as possible, free of our influence. I will not reveal the location of your tag. We do not wish you to find or remove it. You have many questions, clearly, but I really must continue the examination. We do not wish to prolong your presence on our ship. Probe? I'm not sure what you mean. We use a variety of probes. Can you clarify? Oh, no, we are not using that method of examination today. But since you are awake, I may use your consciousness to assist in my examination, if that is agreeable to you. It makes no difference to me. Your system readout suggests you are calm and relaxed at this moment, without emotional agitation, so if you wish to stay conscious, I do not object. Excellent. Look at the panel above you. Tell me when you see a light coming from the panel. All right, very good. Now tell me when the light disappears. Good. Now keep your eyes fixed on the panel. Images will appear in your peripheral vision. Do not look at them directly, look at the panel. Try to describe what you see in your peripheral vision. All right? Good. A series of flashing lights will now appear from the panel. Keep your eyes open. You do not have to say anything. Just look at the lights. What is wrong? Are the lights uncomfortable to your eyes? I see. Well then, perhaps a tactile test instead. No, you do not have to move. Just one moment, I need to activate the device. All right, can you feel the sensation on the soles of your feet? Good. Can you describe it? Interesting. Tell me when it becomes uncomfortable. Understood. You can no longer feel it, correct? The tests we run do not generally cause permanent damage, and any damage we do cause we can repair easily. Your bodies are fairly primitive and simple compared to ours, but you have some idiosyncrasies that are interesting to us. These tests still work even when the subjects are unconscious. We monitor brainwaves to determine the results. I am still monitoring your brainwaves. If you wish me to sedate you completely again so that you do not feel any further discomfort, I can do that. Your consciousness is not required for this examination. I merely thought it would be an enhancement to our research. It is your decision. Let me know if you decide sedation is preferred. Some of the tests may continue to include some discomfort. I do not wish to harm you, even if the damage can be repaired. Your suffering is not expected nor desired. As I said, you will not remember this after we return you to Earth. I understand your curiosity about an experience you find novel and interesting, but as you will not retain anything you are seeing or hearing right now, it is something of a waste of time. Removing your memory of this place is not negotiable. Our protocol dictates that we eradicate as much of ourselves as possible from your brain, in order to minimize disruption. You simply cannot be permitted to return to Earth with any knowledge of this place, or of me. To repeat my earlier statement, there is no need for you to see me. My appearance is irrelevant. If you continue to voice your objections, I will be forced to sedate you. I have only a few tests left to run before my time with you expires. Allow me to continue without distraction. Yes, your conversation presents a distraction. Can you feel the object in your left hand? Good. Squeeze it as tightly as you can. It's measuring your strength, blood flow, and bone density. Continue squeezing. Very good. Now I will place it in your other hand. Again, squeeze the object. Good. Now open your mouth. This will not hurt. I am placing another assessment device between your teeth. Bite down as hard as you can, so that we can measure your jaw strength. Good. I'll remove it. Now I'll run a scan over your entire body. The scan is not invasive. I am measuring your rate of cell growth and mutation, as well as deterioration. Do not speak while the scan is operating. All right, it's done. Warm? The scan felt warm? Interesting. I did not anticipate a tactile response. Perhaps it was psychosomatic. You humans are uniquely designed to generate sensations that do not actually exist and react as though they are real. It's one of the things we find fascinating. A psychosomatic response is different from imagination, but yes, we do enjoy your creativity and imaginative natures. We share your ability to imagine beyond ourselves, but no species does it to quite the extent that you do. You have imagined this place before? Well, as I said, there are sometimes remnants of memory left from your prior visits. Perhaps you retained some of those. You have imagined me. Well, as you have not viewed me, I admit I'm curious to know what you imagine my appearance to be, based on my vocalization alone. This is not a negotiation. If you will not tell me what you imagine unless I reveal my appearance to you afterward, then I suppose you will not be telling me what you imagine. As interesting as it would be to know, I am not authorized nor inclined to share my appearance with you. I have no opinion of what you think of my voice. Whether you find it stimulating or not is not relevant. I assure you, our species have widely differing definitions of attractiveness. Your conversation is proving to be an obstacle to my focus. I believe the time has come to sedate you again. The benefit of your consciousness is outweighed by your inquisitive nature. Yes, I'm grateful for the brief assistance you provided, but now it's time for you to sleep. A favor? What do you mean? You wish for something in return for assisting me? Those terms were not decided on beforehand. You may tell me what you wish, but I am under no obligation to provide it. You wish for additional tactile sensation. You want the sensation of contact with my physical form. I'm not sure I comprehend the mechanics. I'm aware of what a handshake is. We are educated about aspects of your culture. The difficulty isn't in the terminology, it's in the fact that my hands are not shaped like yours. And in the fact that physical contact with human specimens is permitted only as needed for examination, only with protective gear in place, and never when you are conscious. There is little risk of contamination. We are in a clean space. There are other reasons to forego contact. We work to ensure your lives are not disrupted by us, but we also strive to minimize emotional connection with your species. This is a research operation, not a cultural exchange. I acquiesce to your request in order to gain your further compliance. I'll reach into the stasis field on your right and take your hand. There. Your body temperature is naturally higher than ours. My hand may feel cool to you, but yours is almost uncomfortably warm to me. All right, I think that's enough contact. I can only hope my superiors don't learn of this. I'll administer the sedative now. Relax and allow it to take effect, please. Yes, I said please. Is that unusual? Have I not said it before this? It does not signify. You are returning to unconsciousness, human. When you awaken, you'll be back on Earth with no memory of this encounter. You will likely not see me again, but I intend to see you. As you might say on Earth, pleasant dreams.
Hello. You're on our ship. Do you recall being here before? I restored a portion of your memory so that you can recognize your surroundings. It should help make you more comfortable, less likely to panic. Yes, it's me. We spoke before. You were conscious for part of the last round of tests. Yes, we shook hands. We haven't finished the study of your species yet. There is much more to learn, and you are one of our recurring subjects. It only makes sense that you would be back here. You're still in the stasis field. That part has not changed. Don't waste your time trying to move. As I explained before, it's for your protection and our own. But I have already administered the calming agent, so you should not feel too concerned about your lack of mobility. You are as eager as ever to communicate. I recall that from our last meeting. If you remember being here before, then you already know the answers to some of your questions. You know why you are not permitted to see me. You know we are not here to provide you with information. It's very much the other way around. That is a better question. You are awake because I chose to wake you. I was reviewing the results of the previous examinations. I found some of your observations interesting. Your consciousness during the last examination was distracting, but it also piqued my interest about your species in different ways. It was an accident last time that you woke up at all, but that is not the case this time. I convinced my superiors that a thorough study of your species cannot be accomplished without some form of interview process. Self-reported data can be extremely useful. So I was granted permission to bring you back and speak with you further. Under carefully controlled conditions, of course. I'm not sure what you mean. You think I missed you. That doesn't make sense. Teasing. What is that? Oh, then you are teasing me. No, I don't mind. Comments like that are part of the reason why I find an interview important to pursue in the course of a thorough examination. We can study a great deal from a distance, but the nuances of language and interaction can be elusive. Well, I suppose it's good that you're happy to be here, although it's possible I gave you too much calming agent. If you start to feel sleepy, notify me. All right, I've compiled a list of topics that I intend to question you about. They cover a wide variety. We may not be able to discuss all of them in this one examination. It may take multiple interviews. As I said, nuances. I wish to learn more about the way humans interact with each other. Social situations, nonverbal dynamics, relationships. I'm not sure I understand you. I don't need an excuse to speak to you. This interview is entirely scientific in nature. Thank you for your willingness to cooperate. Before we get started, are you comfortable? Well, no, of course you can't be permitted to move, but I don't wish you to be uncomfortable while you're in stasis. Good. No, you may not see me. That is not required for an interview. You can answer my questions without viewing my physical form. It does not matter whether you are pleased with this arrangement. This is how it must be. If you don't like the format, I can simply sedate you and return you to Earth. I can always choose a different subject for my interview. Are you sure you don't prefer that? I don't want you to be resistant to this process. Very well then. Are you prepared to answer my questions? I don't understand. You did that before. You attempted to barter with me. Your compliance in exchange for physical contact. Now you're attempting the same thing, but you wish to exchange your cooperation for visual engagement. Do I comprehend correctly? Did you not hear what I just said? If you don't want to proceed under the parameters already set, I can return you to Earth right now and choose another subject. I don't understand why you think you have any leverage. This is not a negotiation. That is not accurate. I do not require you specifically for this interview. Any human will do. Do you wish me to send you back? Then please stop trying to manipulate me into granting concessions. Yes, I said please. I will extend all courtesies to you as long as you do the same. Are you ready to begin now? What is the issue? I find myself increasingly frustrated. Of course I feel emotions. My species feels a wide variety of emotions. We simply don't order our lives around them or act on them at the level that humans do. You lead with your emotions, from what we can tell. We keep ours at a manageable level. I think it's fairly obvious which species has the more reasonable approach. It does not matter. I will compartmentalize my frustration and renew my focus. This research is important. To be perfectly honest, I would rather you comply than force me to send you back. I find you interesting, as a subject. Thank you. I do appreciate your assistance in this process. Let's begin then. Regarding interpersonal relationships, in your culture, mature humans form pair bonds in most cases, correct? I said most, not all. Humans share in the effort of raising the young, correct? Most of the time, that is. Can you please explain in detail the foundation and evolution of modern gender roles as they manifest in your culture, as well as the societal shifts that have impacted those gender roles in recent decades? Please feel free to theorize about future developments in this topic if you feel informed enough to do so. Oh, is that the case? I apologize. I did not intend to pose questions that extend beyond your personal knowledge or experience. What is your area of professional expertise? That will likely not be helpful to me. I will adjust my line of questioning. I will bypass the general questions and focus on the more subjective content that is consistent with your own individual experience. Does that suit you? Excellent. Can you tell me about your experience with interpersonal relationships? Was that too broad a query? Let me rephrase. Do you have any experience with interpersonal relationships? You have experience with parental figures and other family members present during your formative years. Good. You interact with other humans in the workplace, educational system, and other significant spaces within your society. All right. You have friendships, bonds with other humans of similar interest and experience. Good. You have romantic relationships. Noted. Please tell me more about those. The romantic relationships. Are you currently engaged in a romantic relationship with another human or humans? I am curious what brings some humans together but not others. I am aware of factors like sexual orientation, personal hygiene, shared interests, and cultural influences, but the more subtle details elude me. What makes one human more desirable than another, all objective factors being equal? Can you elaborate on that? Interesting. Can you tell me more about these elements? I have heard of chemistry in this context, yes, but I have not fully comprehended it. That is difficult to understand. If another human matches a majority of your required qualifications for a mate, and you do the same for them, what more is required? Obviously, emotions must come into play, otherwise the relationship might as well be nothing more than a contract. But how are those emotions influenced? How can they vary so profoundly? Yes, I have heard that they can change over time, not always to a positive end. It does seem that much of the way humans engage each other romantically is paradoxical. I have even learned of humans who have completely defined what they seek in a mate, and then they encounter another human who matches almost none of their qualifications, and they still develop intense, even long-standing feelings for that person. How is that possible? Are human emotions so lacking in focus or control that they can vary so drastically from what the logical mind demands? That is both fascinating and unsettling. And it does explain a great deal about some of the directions your species has taken over the millennia. Interesting. So when you, in particular, are looking for a partner, what qualities rank as the most important? Take your time. I would appreciate a well-thought-out response. I see. What else? All right. And what makes those more important than other factors you might consider? You seem to find it difficult to answer some of my questions. Have I administered too much calming agent? I understand. My questions are not as easy to answer as perhaps I had anticipated. I expected more logical responses to what is evidently not a logical topic. My apologies. I can respect that. Much of what humans feel is random, even impulsive. The chemicals that operate in your brain don't always do so in predictable ways. I do appreciate your attempts to explain it to me. I think we have a fundamental cultural divide that prevents me from fully understanding, but I can record your responses for later analysis. Please feel free to tell me anything else you might wish to share on this topic. Certainly, if you feel comfortable putting it into words, tell me what you like. That isn't what I meant. No, you can't respond that you like me. The topic at hand is romantic relationships. Please frame your discussion in that context. I believe you are teasing me again. You don't have any real knowledge of me, and we are discussing human interaction. I am very much not human. It is incomprehensible that you would have any positive emotional reaction to me at all. Yes, you are human, and I suspect you have too much calming agent. You are showing signs consistent with intoxication. I didn't say you're drunk. And isn't that something drunk humans frequently say? That they are not drunk? That does not signify. I have no idea why you're making this illogical claim. But in the interest of science, I will indulge you. Why do you say that you like me? What factors have come into play to generate this outcome? I have shown you no affection at all, merely intellectual curiosity and professional interest. I have done my job and collected data according to all specified parameters. The handshake was your idea, not mine. I agreed to it to secure your compliance. That is correct. I could have forced your compliance without the physical contact. I am unsure why I did not force your compliance. I suppose I did not want to. Because I was interested. No, I was not interested in you in a romantic sense. But I suppose I was interested in the sensation that you proposed, the physical contact. I have never touched a human without protective gear, nor have I touched a conscious human before. It was a novel experience. My scientific curiosity was piqued. But it was still not a logical action, and I remain concerned that my superiors will discover it at some point. I see. That does clarify things a bit. You like me because I was, from your perspective, kind. I allowed you to remain conscious for part of your examination. I allowed the handshake to happen. And now I've allowed you to continue speaking with me. I can see why those might be reasons for you to look favorably on your interactions with me. Although the fact that we've been examining you without your knowledge for most of your life would conceivably be a reason to look less favorably on us. I appreciate that you are no longer resistant to our involvement in your life. But as I said before, we will keep our disruptions to an absolute minimum. When you leave here shortly, we will once again erase your memories of this place. You won't remember this conversation, nor will you remember me. And now that I look, it is very nearly time to send you back. Strange, I am usually so much more cognizant of the passage of time. There is no room for bargaining on this point. We discussed this before. You are not permitted to retain knowledge of the ship, or of me, after you leave here. But recall this. If I am the one to bring you back here for further examinations, I can restore your memories again, so that we may continue the interview, just as I did today. I do not know if I will be the one to return you here when the time comes. I can put in a request, but that is all. The outcome is up to my superiors. Yes, I did request to be the one to work with you today. As illogical as that is, I think I understand why you make that claim. You think I like you because I have made concessions for you. You think I am partial to you because I permitted the handshake. I will not deny a certain interest in you, as a subject. Your observations have been very helpful to my research. Remember, I am not human. I speak in a way that you can understand, but I experience things quite differently from the way you experience them. My emotions function differently from yours. And you are somewhat impaired from the calming agent. I will have to make a note to use less next time. It is possible you will need very little of it as you grow more comfortable in my presence. I appreciate your positive words. I am glad that you aren't afraid. It's almost time to sedate you again. No, I cannot wait any longer. You must return to Earth as scheduled, or our entire operation could be jeopardized. I know you are not pleased by that, but it is the nature of our current situation. Neither you nor I can change it at this juncture. Let me get the sedative prepared. As you will not remember this when you return home, I will share one additional thing. I am also glad that you claim to like me. I am not sure why, but I feel pleasant. It is difficult to describe. You may tease me as you wish. It does not affect me in any particular way. Before I send you back, may I do one more thing? I would like to shake your hand again. I would like to experience it a second time and compare it to the first. No, it is still not permitted for me to do so, but I am finding myself less inclined to adhere to the parameters of my mission. Another exchange. What could you want in exchange for a handshake? I should have anticipated that. Another request for visual contact. I have repeated myself on this point far too many times. Of course, your memory will be erased. That is the protocol. It matters because even if we remove the memories of this experience, remnants may still linger. We must minimize contact in order to reduce the chances of exposure. I can offer you a compromise. Do not speak. Just listen. In a moment, I will reach through the stasis field and take your hand. 3 seconds after that, I will activate the sedative and begin the work of erasing your memories and sending you home. Right before I activate the sedative, I will release the stasis field around your head. I will count down to that moment. You will have less than a second to turn your head and look at me. That is all. If you fail to move quickly enough, you will not get another chance. Also, in light of my protective gear, you will not see many specific features, but you should see 2 things well: the outline of my form and my eyes. Blink if you understand me. Good. It's time to go home, human. I'm reaching into the stasis field now. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hello again. Welcome back. It is good to see you. Please do not speak at a normal volume. You need to remain quiet. You may speak if your voice remains low. This is not our standard examination area. This is a somewhat more isolated part of the ship. You are still in the stasis field, and you have already received the calming agent. Not much this time. You did not seem to need calming during our last encounter. I brought you here to further study you. Of course. As a subject, you interest me. I believe I still have a lot to learn from you. No, the normal laboratory is still intact. I have simply chosen not to use it. The reasons do not signify. We can conduct our work here. Why do you wish to know? Does it matter where we have our conversations? Indeed. If you insist on knowing, we are in this area of the ship because I am not currently permitted to bring humans aboard for study. Technically speaking, you should not be here. I am in something of a probationary period at the moment. I am being disciplined because of my own actions. I was careless. I had brought you here too frequently and for too long. I had spoken of you with more than scientific curiosity. My superiors were becoming concerned about my interest in humans. Specifically, my interest in you. Yes, they have reassigned me to other tasks for the moment. I do not know. I am not sure how long this probation will last. I do know that I must appear to be as detached and clinical as possible when I'm in the lab, if I ever wish to be reinstated. My professionalism has been called into question, so it follows that the way to regain my full access and privileges is to maintain the height of professional conduct. That is a good question. I am not entirely certain of the answer myself. I know that I have wanted to learn more about you. I know I wanted to see you again. I do not know what motivated me to take this step and bring you here against orders. It is not in keeping with my effort to adhere to professional standards. Quite the opposite, in fact. I suppose that is accurate. You are my secret. We are isolated so that we may talk more without being overheard. I cannot be certain what would happen to me, but I know that you would be sent back to Earth without your memory of this place, which is why I have asked you to remain quiet. Increased volume means an increased chance of being discovered. I would most likely never be permitted to conduct research again. After all, I am not following the rules. I should not be placed in a position of authority or responsibility. That is one thing I am not sure about. It is entirely out of character for me to take risks of this nature. I do not recall ever doing it before. I cannot be sure what is happening in my brain to allow this action to occur. But at the moment, I am not in a position to analyze myself or my cognitive function. I am not sure I understand. That is also a good question. I do not know if one would call this risk worth it. If I attempt to quantify what I wish to gain from this encounter, I find I cannot. I do not know what will come from this meeting, or if there will be others. I do not know whether I will be caught and removed from all research efforts. Because I wanted to. I wished to see you again. I wanted to hear your voice. I cannot explain more clearly than that. That is gratifying to know. I am glad the interest in this meeting is not entirely one-sided. You are increasingly confident in your interactions with me. Perhaps restoring your memory fully every time is a mistake. No, that is not correct. You do not have that memory at this time. But you do recall that, the end of our last encounter. Yes, my eyes do look like that. You do seem to have that information at your disposal. How is that possible? I have restored most of your memory, but I didn't restore that part. Some pieces of memory do surface during the dream state, but it is quite strange for you to remember anything quite so accurately or vividly through a dream. I suppose so. Well then, shall we begin? Whatever my motivations were for bringing you here against orders, my interest in you is still very academic. I wish to talk with you and learn as much as I can. I don't have any instruments here in this part of the ship, so I can't conduct scans or other tests. All I can do is ask you questions. What would be the purpose of that? You are not the one conducting the study. That is an interesting phrase. Fair is fair. I find I don't have a substantial argument for it. I might have at one time when I perceived you through a more clinical lens, but now, I did bring you here without your consent and place you in a stasis field. I suppose the least I can do is answer your questions. Especially since I intend to remove your memories of this experience again when I return you to your home, for your safety. Of course, I will still remove those memories. I do still have access to those tools. But because of that, I can answer your questions. I will agree to your terms, although I will not answer anything that may compromise the safety of the ship or its crew. No, not even with the memory removal. You know how small bits of recall can still occur. I cannot risk the chance that any of those small moments of recall would contain sensitive information. Do you understand? Good. Now, shall we begin in earnest? Excellent. What do you mean? I suppose you can ask the first question, but please keep your voice as low as possible, and please keep your questions short. We do not have much time, and I wish to learn as much as possible in the time we have. What is your question? That is difficult to describe. My home planet is different from yours, but there are still similarities between the two. We have large land masses and oceans of water. We have mountains and lakes and forests of plants. As a species, we have experienced many of the growing pains that your species is currently experiencing. We overproduced and overpolluted. We fought amongst ourselves for limited resources. But those days are in our distant past. We have moved forward in our development and our evolution. I have hope that your species will one day do the same. Does that satisfy you? All right. Oh, that is the containment alarm. Somewhere in another part of the ship, a containment field was breached. We have to take safety measures at once. Humans are not the only species we bring aboard for study. Some of the others are less capable of rational communication. The protocol is to return you to Earth immediately, but unlike the other subjects, you are not sedated. You are conscious, and I cannot return you without removing your memories and sedating you. Those actions take time, but at this moment, we don't have time. Do not panic. I will ensure you are not harmed. I need to get you to a safer location. There is a shielded room not far from here that is designed as a refuge for containment breaches and other safety failures. That is the issue. I cannot move the stasis field. You know from our prior encounters that while you cannot pass through the stasis field from the inside, other things can pass through from the outside, like my hand, and whatever has breached containment. It is not safe to leave you here. We must get to the shielded room. Listen to me. I'm going to lower the stasis field entirely. I will need you to get to your feet and follow me. Do you think you can do that? You will need to trust me. At this moment, it doesn't matter what you see. It matters that we get to safety. We can address your memories later. All right, I'm lowering the field. Can you sit up? Good. Can you stand? I'm here. I'm right over here. Follow my voice. We don't have time for that. You need to come with me. Here, hang on to me. You may be a bit unsteady from the calming agent. Let's go. It's just down this hall. Keep moving. I have you. I can keep you upright as long as you keep walking. That's good. Keep it up. All right, this is it. It looks empty. Come on, inside. We should be secure in here. We'll know the threat is past when the alarm stops. Are you all right? I apologize for the additional stress and anxiety. I appreciate you cooperating with our safety protocols. Thank you for following my instructions after I removed the stasis field. I suspect not every human would be as compliant. Just a hunch, I think you call it. Are you dizzy? The calming agent should be out of your system soon. Just sit still. Continue to breathe slowly and focus on the floor. I am not the floor. Why are you looking at me? I suppose that's true. Your previous look at me was somewhat limited. This is, I assume, what you wanted to see. This is my complete appearance. No, look your fill. I don't mind. I will ensure you do not remember it later. You know that isn't possible. It's not a matter of trust. Our mission cannot be compromised. No human can remember being here. The fact that you're here now, that you're conscious, and that you can see me entirely, that will all pose a problem for me if it becomes public knowledge. I will never be permitted to work on this research team again. I may even be imprisoned on my home planet. The safety of the mission is paramount. My own curiosity about you has proven to be a liability. I don't know if it was, as you put it, worth it. I learned a great deal about you. I appreciate all of the help you've given me in that. But I have also formed a sort of attachment to you. That attachment is what brought us to the situation right now. You do. How could this be worth it to you? You aren't permitted to remember it. I suppose that's true. While you are here, you remember. Although this will likely be your last visit here. Why do you ask that? If I am punished for my behavior, it is only what I deserve. I have put more than myself at risk. I have made foolish decisions. I should answer for them if they are found out. I believe you are trying to protect me, but your efforts are in vain. Look at me. I am not human. I cannot live among your species on your planet. You also lack many of the resources I require for life. I could synthesize some, but others would be harder to find. And of course, on Earth, my own people would have no trouble tracking me. I would be recaptured almost immediately, and then punished further. It is not something that can occur, I'm afraid. As appealing as it may be to avoid punishment by fleeing to Earth, that is not an option for me. But I appreciate your offer. Yes, I do. I am grateful that you wish to help me avoid unpleasantness. Even after everything I've done to you, most without your knowledge or consent, you want to assist me. That is somewhat remarkable. I don't believe anyone has ever been as kind to me. Is that strange? Are you all right? You seem to be struggling with consciousness. Here, lean against me. Take deep breaths. All is well. The threat will be over soon. Thank you. I am glad you find me comfortable. You feel interesting. It is difficult to describe. I want to apologize for the situation we're in. I should not have become so attached to you. I should not have brought you here when I did not have permission to do so. I have put you in jeopardy, and I am sorry. What a strange thing to say. No one has ever told me I sound human. I do not know whether that is a positive attribute. In that case, thank you. I believe the danger has passed. Whatever breached the containment field has been recaptured or returned to Earth. It happens infrequently, but it does happen. The safety protocols are in place for a reason. Working with live subjects requires a great deal of preparation in the event of a problem. Of course you are one of the subjects. I have explained that to you many times. What does that mean? How could you be more than a subject? My fascination with you is with you as a subject. Entirely. Or at least, I believe so. I have never known a time when I wasn't driven by scientific curiosity. And I have also never known a time when I acted against instructions. Perhaps studying you has led to a change in me. Perhaps you are, what's the term? Rubbing off. We need to return you to the stasis field. I believe today's interview should be cut short. I don't want to risk exposure. I'll sedate you, remove your memories, and return you to Earth. I do not know if I'll be back. It depends on whether this encounter remains a secret. But if I can, I will return. It may be some time from now. I don't comprehend your meaning. How can you say you'll wait for me if you won't remember I exist? I remember that confidence from before. It's so uniquely Human. Come, let's go. Down this way. That's right, keep going. Almost there. Okay, put yourself back up here, please. Here, let me help. I've got you. Good. Thank you again for complying with my instructions, and for your cooperation with me. I am sorry I did not have more time to speak to you. I would have enjoyed learning more about you. The stasis field is reactivated. Please relax while I prepare the sedative. What is that? If I return, you mean? I see. If I return, I suppose I can allow you to leave the stasis field for a short time, as long as you remain close and comply with all instructions. But please understand, there is a good chance I will not be back. I have taken too many risks. I cannot be counted on to maintain protocol. You asked me that before. I will answer as I administer the sedative. Sleep well, human. You won't remember this, but yes, meeting you was very much worth it. Hello. Yes, it's me. You're back on the ship. It's good to see you too. You are correct, we are in the lab again. I've been reinstated with full access to the space. The containment breach during our last encounter turned out to be more problematic than I had thought. There were issues that had to be addressed. Allow me to put it this way. Some of my colleagues are no longer in service on this vessel. And in the meantime, my attachment to you as a specimen no longer seemed to be as troubling to my superiors in light of that situation. No, they did not find out. No one knows you were here at that time. Had they learned of that, it is very unlikely my superiors would have reinstated me. I am quite glad they did not. We are, as you might say, in the clear. Of course you are in the stasis field. Protocols must still be maintained. It does not matter what happened before, or what I said the last time. Rules are rules. In this lab, protocol is absolute. Please understand, I am still under a certain amount of scrutiny. Not at this moment, perhaps, but in a general sense. If you do not wish to cooperate, I will send you back to Earth immediately. I cannot take additional risks at this juncture. I'm glad you understand. Thank you for your compliance. We will begin the test shortly. I am pleased that you are so eager to be helpful to my research. I have a list of questions I wish to ask you, as well as some basic sensory tests I would like to perform. Also, your compliance while conscious has been very useful in restructuring our methodologies to include interview formats and additional expanded study. You have been invaluable, and I am grateful. In a moment, I have some news to share before we begin. I feel it important to let you know that this will be our last meeting. No, not just for a while. This is our last ever meeting. You will not see me again in your lifetime after this session. Our research mission has reached its conclusion. We will return to our planet and begin analyzing the data we've collected. I imagine it will take quite a long time. We have learned so much in our time studying you. We have collected more data than I had imagined we would. It has been a very satisfactory mission. This has always been the plan. We would study humans and other species for a set time period, and then go back to where we came from. The intention was never to remain here indefinitely. Yes, I believe so. It is very likely that we will return and conduct another study. There is still so much to learn, and humans continue to evolve and adapt. But our species lives far longer than yours does. By the time we have returned here to continue or expand our research, I would expect that at least 150 of your Earth years will have passed. That is correct. You will no longer be alive at that time. You will have reached the end of your lifespan and could not possibly still be present for our return. I apologize. I had suspected you would not be pleased at this news, but I wanted to tell you in person. I determined that it was the right thing to do. That's correct. Your memories will still be erased. We cannot risk allowing you to remember any of these experiences. That, too, has not changed. I'm not sure why I told you that this is our last encounter. You are not in error. You won't remember this. You won't remember me at all. But I still wanted to tell you, I suppose, and to express my gratitude at your assistance. That is true. You may retain small bits of memory at times, but you will think they are dreams, or fantasies, perhaps. Certainly nothing that actually occurred. Of course, there's a chance of that happening, especially now that you and I have interacted on a level not technically permitted. You have had visual and tactile experience of me. The more information you receive about me or my species, the less likely we will be able to remove all of it effectively without damaging your brain. That is why we are supposed to keep our interactions distant and vague. But even if you recall my face, you will most likely think you imagined me, which is exactly how it must be. I did not anticipate this level of distress in you. I should not have shared this information until the end of our session. That was my mistake. I appreciate what you are saying, but if you apply logic to the situation, you must realize that this is the only way it could ever be. We are not the same species. I have a role to play on this ship. You have a life to live on Earth. At some point, eventually, we were always going to go our separate ways. Will I? I suppose I will. I'm not certain, but I think missing you would be an apt description of how it will feel to no longer speak with you. I have enjoyed our meetings. You have been a model subject. I do not know what more I can say. I did tell you previously that meeting you was worth it. I am not sure what else you wish to hear. Of course you cannot. No subjects are allowed to return with us. That would be potentially disastrous. Our planets do have similarities, but they also differ significantly. You cannot breathe the atmosphere on my planet. You could not live there without remaining in a stasis field with oxygen supplied to you. We do have larger stasis fields than these, but not much larger than this room. Living in that situation would be like imprisonment. No, of course not. The greater issue would be getting there. You would most likely not survive the trip. Your body is not adapted to deep space travel. It is as simple as that. I don't have time to go into the details right now. Suffice it to say, you cannot come with me. There is no use belaboring the point. Why do you ask? There's no way you could comprehend the mechanics of our memory-altering devices. Our species is hundreds of years ahead of yours in neurological study. That is an interesting question. We do have the ability to, in a sense, preserve consciousness. Even though we have longer lifespans than you, we also wish to prolong existence and experience what we can. We have made great strides in mapping the consciousness of one individual to the dormant neural pathways of another. The science isn't perfect yet, but we are optimistic. Of course, I know you probably doubt that we consider ethical ramifications in our pursuit of scientific curiosity, and given your experience, that doubt is valid. But when it comes to preserving life by, in essence, placing one mind in another body, there are many ethical factors to consider. Well, the body must no longer be in use, for starters. It must be donated. It cannot be sold to those with deep pockets who wish to more or less live forever. The conditions of the brain must be ideal for neural remapping. The one who is being mapped onto the replacement brain must have no other options for life. All of this is still very experimental. We are a long way from general application of this technology. I see what you are trying to do. You wish me to map your consciousness onto someone of my species, because that way you can travel back with me to my planet. It is a novel idea, but it cannot work. There are several flaws in your plan. First and foremost, there is no one on this ship who is on the verge of cognitive collapse and who would be prepared to donate their body and brain to the remapping effort. Also, you are not on the verge of death, and thus without other options to live, provided you stay on Earth. And finally, we have never attempted to remap one's consciousness across multiple species. There is no way to know if it would work, and it very likely would not. You could be killed in the process. That would not be ethical. It would, in fact, cause a great deal of trouble for our main mission, the research study we've been doing. If a subject accidentally dies on our watch, we have protocols in place for that. But if we were to inadvertently kill you through a botched neural remapping, that would be harder to explain to my superiors, and also harder to hide from those on your planet. We could come up with a means to disguise the true situation, but that is far more paperwork than I wish to deal with. I admire your tenacity. You genuinely do not seem to want to say goodbye. That is touching. What I want does not matter. It has never mattered. I am here to do a job. The fact that I became somewhat attached to you is a complication that I did not anticipate, but it does not change the outcome of the situation. You will return to Earth. I will return to my planet. We will not speak again after this. Do you understand? I said, do you understand? Good. Shall we proceed with the interview? You no longer wish to be compliant. That is unfortunate. I would have liked to have spoken longer. You are clearly agitated. Should I administer the calming agent? Then you must relax. Please allow me to reassure you, you will not miss me because you will not remember. You will not have any recollection of this place. You will go about your normal life as though nothing has changed. Does that not sound peaceful? But you cannot miss what you do not recall. I would think that would bring you peace. You may be concerned now, but none of those negative emotions will remain once you are back home. That does not make sense. It truly is not more complex than that. Well, yes, you did recall some small things that I had thought we removed, but that should not matter in the end, even if it happens again. And then what? Let us presume that you managed to remember everything. Every conversation, every test, every time we interacted with each other. What will that change? I will still be on my planet. You will still be on yours. There is no middle ground for future encounters. You must accept that. It would be far better to just forget. Of course, I can't forget. I have to study the data we've collected. I have a great deal to explore from what I've learned from you. Yes, that is true. I will not deny it. Working with you has changed me, as I believe I said before. You have rubbed off on me. I believe I understand humans and how you think and feel more than I expected to. I am more engaged with you than I anticipated I would be. And yes, I will miss you. I will miss our interactions. You have made this job very stimulating. I have told you there is no other way to further our relationship. Of course, that is not possible. If I leave a piece of technology behind for you, even something as simple as a long-range communication device, I would risk jeopardizing everything. You wish to stay in contact, but I wish to protect my people and our work. Not to mention the fact that if I were caught, I would assuredly be placed in detention, and we would not be able to communicate anyway. No, I can't give you anything of the sort. We cannot stay in contact after I've left here. Despite what you think of my species and our methods, I do have some loyalty to them. I do not wish to harm the research or endanger my colleagues. I can understand how it might seem that way. I have mentioned punishment on occasion, but that is only because I have stepped outside the rules that are well established. If I have been punished, I have deserved it. And I bear no ill will to my superiors for ensuring that I adhere to protocols that exist for a reason, no matter how much I've wanted to ignore them entirely. You know that. Me bringing you here last time was evidence of my tendency to flaunt the rules. I am fortunate I was not caught. I cannot take any additional risks. You truly do not give up. That is both appealing and frustrating. Do you know that? I suppose I have no choice but to send you back now. You have expressed a desire to be non-compliant. You continue to attempt to suggest ways in which we might remain connected, but none of those methods is reasonable or safe. I appreciate what you are doing, but it has to stop. You have to stop. Please. This is not pleasant for me, I assure you. I do not wish to say goodbye. But as our mission is complete, goodbye it must be. Stand by for the sedative, human. Do not protest. Just close your eyes. Listen to my voice. Here, feel my hand. You can hold it until you sleep. And remember for as long as you can. You have a few seconds remaining. Thank you for all you have taught me. I have much to think about. I will. You can be assured of that. I will remember. Goodbye, human. Oh! Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I didn't see you there. No, it's my fault. I wasn't paying attention. Are you okay? Good. I'm really sorry. I'm still getting used to walking, so I lose my footing sometimes. Oh, it's no big deal. I was in a coma for a long time, but now I'm up and about, and apparently not great yet at not running into strangers. Yeah, no, I'm fine. Just glad you're okay. I'm Quinn, by the way. Nice to meet you. This is gonna sound weird, but do I know you? You look so familiar to me. Yeah, sorry, that was weird. Of course I don't know you. Huh. Maybe I saw you in a dream. It was a joke. Although I did have some weird dreams when I was in the coma. Oh yeah. That's probably more than you want to know, though. I should let you get back to your walk. You sure? Sorry, I tend to ramble, even with strangers, apparently. But, I dreamed about a spaceship, come to think of it. I know, right? Sounds kind of crazy. But there was this alien there, and she told me I was dying. She said my brain was not going to recover, so she was asking me to donate my body to her. You know, you'd think it was scary, but it actually was really comforting somehow. Yeah, maybe that's weird. Anyway, she said if I donated my body, she could, what's the word? Remap herself onto my brain. Yeah, something like that. Like, her personality would be in my body, I guess. She said parts of me would still be there, but that she'd be there too. It was very sci-fi, but also really interesting. I'm pretty sure I said yes, but I don't remember anything after that because I woke up from the coma. Yeah, that was it. You probably think I'm a major weirdo now, huh? You know, that's a good question. Nothing about that dream would explain why you look familiar to me. Huh, must be some other reason. Yeah. Anyway, I should let you walk. Thanks for the chat. Hey, listen, This might sound extra weird, but do you want to get coffee sometime? Yeah? Great. I don't know. I don't usually do that, but there's something... I just feel like... Something tells me it would be worth it.